Hi, I'm Barratt Kennett. Over the last few years, I've taken some of the things that I've learned from founding and operating successful award-winning businesses, as well as what I've learned from the feet of some of the masters of various industries, to help teach and inspire businesses who are looking for more. Over the next several minutes, you're going to see some of the highlights of some of the value that I like to create for the businesses we work with, as well as some of the topics that are most popular. What you'll see is how we help sales teams drive and increase sales in order to help increase revenue, how we help emerging leaders learn some of the core leadership skills they need in order to help businesses develop autonomous teams that can take the pressure off management, as well as how we help owners and managers of businesses learn how to recruit, retain, and scale in order to help build the businesses of their dreams. Enjoy.
Who here has eaten at a fancy restaurant? Right? Walk me through the process. Walk me through the process. So you go in there, the maitre d' sits you down and you look at the menu and you go, ooh, that looks nice. And you order your starters, you order your mains, and what happens? Food comes out. You eat the food, it's normally delicious, right? Then what do? Well, if you're me, you get dessert. Well, you get your second dessert because I already had some of the start, right? But then you go up and you pay. Everyone familiar with that? It's not how success works. People think that's how success works. But there's a reason that 2/3 of people who win the lottery end up broke. Because it's not about circumstance. It's about skills. It's about the skills to attain and sustain that success. Success isn't a fancy restaurant, it's a coffee club. What happens at coffee club? You look at the menu, you decide what you're willing to pay, because you can't always afford some of the things that you want. Not everyone can. Or I'm willing to pay. And then you go up, you pay, and then you get to eat. That's how success works. No one's going to do it for you.
So the routine is super important, but what happens if you do the same thing over and over again? Just get a little sad, don't you? And so where does this chaos need to come from in a paradigm like this? Failure. And where does failure come from? Who said that? Putting yourself out there and trying something new, and preferably something hard. Do you understand? And that's what you've got the opportunity here to do. Number one, you've got to master sales, right? Then what happens? Once you've mastered sales, you start building a team. What then do you have to learn? You got to learn how to teach people. Who here was an excellent teacher when they first started? Right? It's something you have to learn with time. And then you've got to learn how to teach people how to teach people. You've got to learn how to be a great leader. There's all these things that you're going to suck at. So the question I have for you pertaining to growth is, are you doing enough to grow? Are you putting yourself in enough uncomfortable situations that you're going to fail and then learn those lessons? You guys with me on that? The secret to success is failure. I want you guys to write that down. The secret to success is failure. So you look at the things that you have to learn. Well, I'm going to give you a head start here, right? I'm going to give you a head start on the first lessons that you've got to learn to get to a level like Lawrence or Owen or Danny, right? Is this. What is the worst possible thing that you can do when it comes to growing? Starts with B. Rhymes with lame. I love it when you guys do this. You guys are so on the ball, right? Blame. So the first skill that you've got to learn is how to be accountable, is how not to blame things, right? Just write these ones down. These are the most important skills that you can throw yourself in there to learn. And is it going to be easy to learn it? No. But is it important? Yes. Second one is entitlement. The worst thing that you can ever do is feel like you deserve anything. Every single thing you do has to be earned. Everything you do has to be earned. No one cares what you've already done. It doesn't matter. It's what are you doing now? And the last one's an important one. It's complacency. I was watching Eric Thomas video he's talking about it. He talked about how crocodiles, right? They actually eat lions. Crocodile versus lion, the crocodile wins almost every time. And lion's like the king of the jungle, right? But you can actually kill a crocodile with your bare hands. with your bare hands. And why that is after a crocodile eats a big meal, it actually goes into a state of paralysis. Crocodile goes into a state of paralysis for an hour and doesn't move. And you can literally kill that crocodile with your bare hands and it wouldn't be able to do anything after it's had a big meal. And a lot of us are kind of like that sometimes, aren't we? You hit that promotion, right? You hit that PB, you get that first rep, and all of a sudden you're Nick Cranshaw again. Not Nick Cranshaw, but Nick Cranshaw arms at least. Right? And you think you've done enough. Good on you guys, right? Some of you guys in this room have done some pretty cool stuff. Good for you. What's that doing for the people looking up to you now? It's not helping anybody. What's it doing for you? Complacency is the biggest killer in the world. So those are the first 3 skills that you're going to have to master in order to get to a high level. Is you got to stay hungry, you got to stay accountable, all right? Nothing can ever be anyone else's fault, and you got to stay humble. You can't be entitled to anything. You don't deserve anything, because the moment you stop being entitled is the moment you stop being angry. And the moment you stop being angry is the moment that you can operate in a place of love, and that's where excellence really happens, right? What to look for when hiring the perfect salesperson. One person can completely change the culture of an office, and having the right kind of people in to push those standards and create that belief, it can be the thing that you look back on and go, that was the moment that we became great. It's a big deal. But there are a couple of predictable things that you can actually look out for to make sure that you're hiring a great person. The first thing that I really look for is someone's drive. Especially in an interview, the first thing I'll say is, what ideally are you looking for yourself at the moment? When somebody says, I really want to be in sales, or I want to make a lot of money, or I want to promote really quickly, you know that that's someone who's goal-driven, or at the very least loves education. But as soon as somebody says, I just want a secure, stable job, I would like a regular income stream, you know that you don't even want to spend the time with them. The second thing that I look for is I really try and make sure I'm looking for some sort of competitive sport background. Sales is about winning. Believe it or not, sales is a sport. And if you want a winning team, you need to hire a team full of winners. So somebody that's played in sport at a competitive level, or even better, martial arts, or even dance. Girls that dance, I mean, you have no idea, and guys as well, what they actually have to put themselves through in order to achieve, the certain outcomes that they want. Look for some sort of competitive sport, martial art, or dance, and you're gonna get a winner on your team that's gonna make sure that they hit their targets no matter what, every time. The next thing you actually wanna look for is someone who backs themselves. If you want to be a little bit cheeky, and if you've got the balls for it, when you're sitting down with them, say, hey, look, I'm not sure this is the role for you. And just look at them. If they disagree with you, that's someone you want to hire right away. Now, if you're not necessarily confident enough with that, that's okay. Now, if you're trying to recruit a leader, somebody who is able to run teams of their own and really mentor people, not just those lone wolf style sales killers. You also are going to need them to be adaptable, because when things go wrong, which in sales they inevitably always will, you need someone who's not going to take it personally and be a victim to those circumstances. You don't want any kind of entitlement or despair happening. So when those problems arise, you need someone who's adaptable, who can just get on with it. Well, what you're actually looking for is humility. Because in order to be adaptable, it just means you don't take things personally, which means you don't have a big ego. So when looking for that humility, what I'll normally say is something like, look, awesome, it's easy to talk about your strengths in an environment like this. Can you tell me a bit about your weaknesses? Now, the secret is, I don't actually care what they say. What I'm looking for is how quickly they respond to that question. If they take a really long time to answer, or they can't even think of anything, that person's a narcissist. And look, sometimes those people will be great in an isolated sales role, but if you're in a really big team environment, they're going to be a nightmare to manage, because they're not going to get along well with others. They're not going to play well with the other kids. But more importantly, if they're running in a leadership role, they're never going to be able to have the compassion and genuineness that it takes to really be able to nurture and grow leaders that are competent underneath. So making sure you're looking for that humility really goes a long way. The other thing that I look for in people when they're coming into the sales team is, believe it or not, if they've worked in fast food. Think about this for a second. Someone that's worked at a McDonald's or a Burger King, Hungry Jack's, KFC style place, they are the masters of systems. Those franchises are the most systemized things you've ever seen. That's why they can grow so big. So these people, as young kids, are completely grasping the concept of systems and how regimented a business has to be. The other side is they can deal with pressure. Imagine having a line of 10 people asking for a McFlurry and you know darn well your ice cream machine's broken. It's a lot for a young person to take on. So having a background in fast food, actually, believe it or not, is something I really look for. The last thing I look for in someone that I think is going to be a potential sales star is, believe it or not, sales ability. And the way that I tease that out is simple. I say, look, I've got 25 to 30 interviews today. I'm only looking to take on 1 to 2 candidates. Why would I want to select you over the other applicants? You're going to see right away what kind of ability they have because they're going to be selling themselves. You're going to be looking for the confidence and certainty at which they speak, and also their ability to fulfill the needs that they perceive you have. The easier it is for you to gauge their sales ability, the more likely you're going to know they're going to be good salespeople. All in all, when you're really looking for great salespeople, you're really looking for winners. You're looking for people who are humble. You're looking for people who are going to understand systems and pressure. And when you can really get those things together, you're going to find the perfect salesperson. And that person might be that lightning rod that completely changes your business forever. Well, hopefully you got some value out of some of the information that you just saw in those clips that you might be able to plug into your business right away. Now, if you can't tell, I feel like there are very few people who truly love business growth, leadership, and sales as much as I do. And I really feel like that permeates in some of the work that we do with our clients. Now, if you do think there might be some opportunity or that there's some value that we could add to your business, feel free to get in contact and we will get back to you very, very quickly. Other than that, have a fantastic day and best of luck.